Welcome to the most complete, challenging, and route targeting quiz for your mind. Indeed, it is your mind that you have to free from this world of people who tell you to think a certain way, to do certain things. And this quiz really challenges your philosophy, your psychology upon what do you really believe when it comes to politics or liberty or freedom or the worldly issues. Do you care about people and yourself? Do you care about what's going on in the world? Well, I think this quiz goes comprehensive, really deep into it. And I want to thank Chris Nelson, who's here with me, who helped me really put this quiz into a format so I can deliver it online. It's hosted on his website too, evolveconsciousness.org. But this quiz you can also take online, theliberator.us. So in case you don't want to watch this video, you can go to theliberator.us. You can share it with your friends, your family, or anybody that you want to get thinking about this world. And you really do got to challenge yourself if you want to emerge and better your own thinking, perhaps, in what you think you know. Now, you can take this quiz online, and if you're not going to take it online, then you can keep watching this video. Now, if you're curious how this whole quiz was made, skip to the end of this video. Okay, but if you are going to watch this, pause each time I ask the question and share the answers, and just think to yourself for a moment, what is the answer, and then continue the video. Now, this first video is going to be the shortest version of this quiz. It's about 15 questions. The whole version of this quiz is 95 questions if you want a full in-depth challenge with scenarios and everything. I do actually encourage you go the full way with all 95 questions, but you can just stick with these first 15 if you choose to do so. This will be a video series on the channel, so be sure to check it out. I'll have it linked in the description below. So let us begin with question 1. Do you have the moral right to rule or dominate another individual against their will? Yes or no? The correct answer here is no. You do not have the moral right to rule or dominate another individual against their will. Next question. Does anyone have the moral right to rule or dominate you if you don't want them to rule or dominate you? Yes or no? The correct answer here is no. No one has the moral right to rule or dominate you if you don't want them to rule or dominate you. Next question. Does anyone have a legitimately higher claim over your life and property other than you? Yes or no? The correct answer here again is no. No one has a legitimately higher claim over your life and property other than you. Do you have a legitimately higher claim over the life and property of another? Yes or no? The correct answer here is no. You do not have a legitimately higher claim over the life and property of another. Next question. Do you have a legitimate right to steal your neighbor's stuff? Yes or no? The correct answer here is no. You do not have the legitimate right to steal your neighbor's stuff. Next question. Does anyone have the legitimate right to steal your stuff? Yes or no? The correct answer again is no. No one essentially has the right to steal anybody else's stuff. So, next question. If you don't have the right to steal from or harm another person, can you confer that right that you don't have onto another person or group? Yes or no? And correct answer here is no. You do not have the right to steal or harm another person, and you cannot then give that right to anybody or a group of people, even if they call themselves a government. Now, as we get more challenging, do those who wield political power, presidents, legislators, etc., have the moral right to do things which other people do not have the moral right to do? If so, from whom and how did they acquire such a right? Yes or no? Yes would require you to explain how that process happens, but the correct answer here is no. No one has the moral right to do things which other people do not have the moral right to do, okay, because we are equal. Next question, is there any means by which any number of individuals can delegate to someone else the moral right to do something which none of the individuals have the moral right to do themselves? Yes or no? The correct answer here is no. There is no means by which any number of individuals can delegate to someone else the moral right to do something which none of the individuals have the moral right to do themselves. Is there any process, constitutions, elections, legislation, by which human beings can transform an immoral act into a moral act without changing the act itself? Yes or no? The correct answer here is no. There is no process by which human beings can transform an immoral act into a moral act without changing the act itself. When lawmakers and law enforcers use coercion and force in the name of law and government, do they bear the same responsibility for their actions that anyone else would who did the same thing on his own? Yes or no? The correct answer here is no. The responsibility is different. When lawmakers and law enforcers use coercion in the name of law and government, they do not bear the same responsibility for their actions as anybody else if they did the same action on their own. When there is a conflict between an individual's own moral conscience and the commands of a political authority, is the individual morally obligated to do what he personally views as wrong in order to obey the law? Yes or no? The correct answer here is no. The individual should always follow their own moral conscience above the law. Do you think two people have a right to trade with each other independent of any third party if they want to? Yes or no? The correct answer here is yes. Two people do have the right to trade with each other independent of any third party if they want to, because they're choosing what to do with their own property. Next question, can you limit slavery or violence if it's seen by everyone as legitimate? Yes or no? Correct answer here is no, because you cannot limit slavery or violence if it's seen as legitimate. People will allow it, and thus it will grow. If stealing 100% of the product of someone's labor is slavery, at what percentage is it not slavery? Is the answer 0% or somewhere between 100% and 0%? The correct answer here is 0%. That's the only time it is not slavery, because if someone's taking something that belongs with you, even if it's 1% of your property, it's still your property. That's theft. That is slavery. Okay, so be sure to check out the next video part of this series, because this is going to get more challenging as it goes on with different scenarios. Again, there's 95 questions and we just went over 15, and the beginning questions were obviously very essential and very basic. But as we move further, we're going to see a lot of examples and deeper questions and answers. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for taking our quiz. And so I want to share how we created this quiz. I'm here with Chris Nelson. So share with me why you chose to be a part of this project. I just want to say, first of all, thank you for helping with this project, because I tried reaching out to others and I tried finding other people who can code, because I don't know how to code, and just set up a simple little quiz. And for most things online, you have to pay for a quiz, and you really developed this 95 question quiz, which is insane for people to take, but it's really comprehensive. And I also want to give a shout out to producer Mike, who helped a little bit too with the technical side of things. But if you want to share a little bit about how you made it and why you chose to help me with this project.
Well, you're welcome. And oftentimes when people ask for help, if I'm able to, I can offer my assistance. So that was a situation where you asked for help in the OGWN chat, and I was like, well, I know how to code, I can probably help. And after talking to you, it was something that I could do from scratch, but it would have taken me a lot longer if I had developed it from scratch on my own. But since I'm a React developer, I went online to see that probably someone had done something like this. And after looking around, I did find someone who had done a pretty good job. So I just took their code that they made online, and then I modified it for the needs that you wanted, and presto magico, there we go. We had one quiz that was 95 questions, and then you wanted to add a shorter one, so then I modified it again to add the short version. And yeah, I guess that's all I got to say about how I came about it. I didn't develop it myself. It was code that I used, and so I'm thankful for the person who had developed it rather than me spend a lot of time developing it, because it wouldn't have been ready now, that's for sure. It would have taken probably a few weeks, few months.
Yeah, that's very thankful for having that as well. That's awesome. And I know that you changed some of the colors as well, so we made it more suitable for the platform, the Liberator.us, using some gold, some black, some white and grays, right? Generally just to keep it around more of a freedom, liberty-minded colors, not like we had a specific theme to it. And then we also added a certificate at the end, right, where people can put in their name. And there's also a link where people can learn more. So I thought that was really good as an addition.
Yeah, that was the last edition. You were like, all right, we're done. Okay, let's record it. And then you're like, oh, wait, one more thing. And that was pretty much the last thing, was the certificate.
Yeah.
That people can just enter their name, and then they can click on the button, get certificate, and it'll just say certificate of completion with their name for the courses, abolitionism, and then the date is underneath.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, feel free to share with anybody that you know to take this quiz. And if you know of any other quizzes that I don't know about, you could also share it with us. I'd be interested. I know there's some people who have created some small things here and there, but I didn't see personally any freedom quiz really designed to talk about the deeper philosophy side of things. So that's why I had the more obligation to create it myself. So thank you, Chris, for helping that happen. And thank you, everybody, for taking the quiz and participating in this. So stand for liberty, the Liberator.us. Take care.